It's me.
Okay, so for this video, I will just be reading out and editing my research project for my psychology thing. And disclaimer, if you actually processed any of these information, so the experiment was not actually carried out because it's hypothetical data that was provided by our TAs, and also I have no idea how the quality of work it is at this point. Like, I used to be very much like of a perfectionist, and I'm just like, whenever I get like 80 something, I'm still like, oh my god, it's so bad. But then now I'm just like, fuck this, because I don't know, I just yeah. Yeah, okay, so my research project is to investigate the results of implementing educational intervention in Pick-a-Cart tarot readings. It's for my psychology research methodology class. The abstract is this. This study focuses on the investigation of the cognitive biases. This study focuses on the investigation of the cognitive debiasing technique of education and educational intervention in Pick-a-Cart tarot readings. 30 introductory psychology students will be needed in the... No. 30 introductory psychology students participated in the study. 30 introductory psychology students participated in the study. All participants were asked to watch 2 Pick-a-Cart tarot videos and rate the level of resonance. Once before and after educational intervention. Wait, what? What? Once before and after educational intervention has been placed to compare whether or not cognitive biases are the determining factors whether or not cognitive biases are the determining factors in the belief and accuracy of tarot readings. To investigate the results of implementing educational intervention in Pick-a-Cart tarot readings. Tarot readings are often associated with the concept of fortune-telling and the predicting of future. In modern days, many uses tarot cards in their own ways. While some still stick to the stereotype of fortune-telling, there are also more and more people that are using tarot cards for means such as self-improvement, advice, growth, and more. There are also psychologists who uses tarot cards as a mean of therapy. On YouTube, a type of popular tarot videos is Pick-a-Cart readings. These are tarot readings separated in different piles for viewers to select what they are drawn to, and that selected pile will then be their reading. I once heard someone saying that Pick-a-Cart readings does not work because you do not get the energy from the client, and it is general. In normal tarot readings, a client would ask a question or simply request a reading. In this case, the readers would tap into the client's energy. However, in Pick-a-Cart readings, there are no specific clients. Thus, no energy can be tapped into except for the tarot reader's energy. This sparks an interest in me thinking about how, when I watch tarot readings, I personalize certain aspects for it to adjust to my situation and what I want to hear. This led me to wonder whether cognitive biases, such as confirmation bias, are the cause of whether a tarot card reading resonates. This may mean that when a current listens to a reading, person who asked the question, this may mean that when a current person who asked the question listens to a reading, they will understand the information in a way that aligns with their pre-existing beliefs. The idea that cognitive biases may possibly influence the accuracy in tarot readings cognitive biases may possibly influence the high accuracy in tarot readings, or explored by Itai Ifsan. He evaluated divination readings in both paranormal and non-paranormal perspectives. In the non-paranormal approach, Ifsan mentioned that in any divination readings, the popularity of them can be explained through the psychological process of Barnum Effect, which is the tendency for individuals to apply general statements specifically and accurately into their own distinct situation. Thus, it supports my idea that individuals may personalize readings into their own situation. Also, it was suggested that currents generally already have an answer for their question in their mind. Hence, what they interpret from the general statement, which is personalized in their own situation, may only be new evidence that is perceived in a way which aligns with their pre-existing beliefs from external locus of control. External locus of control is the belief in explanation of occurrences that is from external forces, such as luck and fate. Studies have shown that believers of external locus of control are generally more prone to authoritarianism and the Barnum Effect. Believers of horoscopes are generally also believers of authority. In the case of horoscope and astrology, individuals may believe in horoscopes due to the fact that they are descriptions written by experts. It is stated that these individuals may be more susceptible to Barnum Effect due to their belief in external locus of control. A study categorized participants into believers and skeptics. Half of the participants were given positive general personality descriptions, and the other half were given negative ones. They were also given astrological and non-astrological horoscopes, where half of the participants were led to believe that their horoscopes were offered by professional astrologists, while the others were not. The results of the study supported this theory and revealed that believers in astrology rated their own what theory? The theory results of the study supported a theory and revealed that believers in astrology rated their own personal description. All participants were given the same description to be significantly more accurate than skeptics, regardless of whether or not it was labeled as their horoscope description. Thus, this suggests that people who are believers of external locus of control may have the tendency to be influenced by cognitive biases more so than others who are not. Another cognitive bias, which should be considered in the acceptance of general statement as describing oneself, is illusory correlation. Participants in the illusory correlation, Fission and Sunerton. Participants in the research were shown to rate their own horoscope forecasts as not personally useful compared to other signs. However, when participants were aware of which signs were being described, the description were rated to be significantly more accurate. It suggests the role. Hold on, I really need to get into the details of this. Another cognitive bias. Illusory correlation. External locus of control. Illusory correlation. Okay, so Fission and Sunerton. Let me take a look at the article. Is it this one? Methods. "366 college students enrolled in introductory psychology courses from 1980 to 1981 served as SS." I don't know what SS means. Individual differences associated with horoscope rating were assessed by some. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. But I'm gonna get good grades. I manifest. I manifest. I manifest. I am getting good grades. I'm doing great. I am doing great. Okay, so participants in the research were shown to rate their own. Participants in the research were asked. Oh shit! I'm sorry. Were asked to rate different horoscopes. Different horoscopes, horoscope forecasts, usefulness to themselves. The results have shown that when the horoscopes are not labeled, the participants does not rate their own horoscope forecast as personally useful compared to other signs. However, when participants were aware of another cognitive bias which should be considered in the acceptance of general statement as describing oneself is illusory correlation, Fishin and Sunerton, 1983. Participants in the research were asked to rate different horoscope forecasts' usefulness to themselves. The results have shown that when the horoscopes are not labeled, the participants does not rate their own horoscope forecast as personally useful compared to other signs. However, when participants were aware of which signs were being described, the descriptions were rated to be significantly more accurate. It suggests the role of illusory correlation, where people wrongfully assume or overestimate a relationship between two variables when no such relationship exists. Due to rare occurrences, where people wrongfully assume or overestimate a relationship between two variables when no such relationship exists, due to rare occurrences, which tends to be able to capture one's attention more. Fishin and Sunerton assumes the role of illusory correlation and state that it is due to the fact that it is much easier to make connections between variables when both variables are present rather than when one is absent. In other words, it is much easier to recognize the accurate aspect within a general description than the inaccurate ones. As an example, it is much easier to recognize that one has broken their leg and their horoscopes did forecast accidents rather than recognize that horoscope forecast accidents, but one did not have an accident. And then next up, Toback has suggested that illusory correlation is a common cognitive process which is evident in characterizing pseudoscientific beliefs. In the case of pick a card readings, it is possible that people may mistakenly believe in the association of what is said and an event that also happened as a relationship. Diving deeper into the concept of correlation, is that really enough for people to believe in the paranormal? Similar to research, correlation is not enough of an explanation. A causal relationship has to be made. In cognitive biases, not only can cause an illusion for a non-existent or overly estimated connection, but there is also an illusion of a causal relationship. It has suggested in studies that causal illusions may indeed play a fundamental role in the acceptance of paranormal beliefs. Torres, Barberia, and Rodrigo Ferreiro, 2020. The studies above has suggested different types of cognitive biases that may influence people's belief in pseudoscience. To specifically investigate whether or not cognitive biases such as Barnum Effect and confirmation bias are the cause of why pick a card readings resonate, debiasing techniques should be used. Educational intervention is a form of debiasing technique proposed by Barberia, Tubal, Matute, and Rodrigo Ferreiro, 2018, for cognitive biases. It is a technique which allows individuals to be made aware about their cognitive biases. Wait, hold on. Let me just... It is beach. It is a beach. It is a technique which allows individuals to be made aware about their own cognitive biases and trainings to eliminate or reduce cognitive biases. In the study, educational intervention was focused on the Barnum Effect and confirmation bias. In the study, participants first learned how easily one can be influenced by cognitive biases by inducing Barnum Effect and or confirmation bias, thus showing self-relevance of the subject to the participants. Then, the participants went through a short training which focuses on the approach to consider the opposite, where the participants have to consider a list of possibilities in different situations, which resulted in the outcome. The possibilities considered should be able to suggest why the initial hypothesis of the situation is wrong. One of the main focus of their research is causal illusion, referring to the illusion of a causal relationship between two events when no such relationship exists. The study has suggested that causal illusion can lead to the superstitious and pseudo-scientific beliefs through educational intervention. I am not processing any of these, hold on. One of the main focuses of the research is causal illusion, referring to the illusion of a causal relationship between two events when no such relationship exists. The study has suggested that causal illusion can lead to superstitious and pseudo-scientific beliefs. Through educational intervention, they aim to encourage a more critical analysis on paranormal beliefs. The results suggested that educational intervention can effectively increase scientific critical thinking and decrease probability of causal illusions. There is also okay. Although the studies above have mainly suggested that the accuracy of pseudoscience may mainly be the result of cognitive biases, the possibility that paranormal abilities actually exist cannot be neglected. The question about whether pick-a-card tarot readings can still resonate when biases are set aside is still present. My study aims to fill the gap between the connection of paranormal and non-paranormal of pick-a-card tarot readings. In Barbaria et al.'s study, they were interested in encouraging a more critical analysis. However, specifically in the measurement of paranormal beliefs, they used a questionnaire where participants rank how much they believe in the statement, such as ghosts exist. Although the results have shown no significant changes between groups who did the questionnaire before and after intervention, I think it is possible that it may be due to the fact that participants were ranking solely from their impression of the abstract idea or previous experiences, which may not change drastically from a short training. Thus, I think that a ranking from a specific example may increase in internal validity in terms of measuring the effect of educational intervention. Assuming that the debiasing technique of educational intervention is effective in eliminating or reducing cognitive biases, if pick-a-card readings no longer resonate with currents after intervention has been implemented, it may suggest that pick-a-card readings resonate due to cognitive biases. In contrast, if the currents still resonate with the pick-a-card readings after intervention, it may suggest that reading genuinely resonate due to paranormal abilities. If technique is implemented on the participants before watching tarot readings, it should allow them to be able to critically analyze whether or not the reading genuinely resonate personally, rather than resonating as a result of being influenced by cognitive biases such as Barnum Effect. I hypothesize that after educational intervention has been placed, the rating of resonance by the participants should be significantly lower, as the participants may realize that the statements are generic and the relationship between events are solely an illusory correlation. Method. Design. In this research, repeated measures was used to avoid participants' variability, such as their beliefs in spirituality. The independent variables was the condition before and after educational intervention. The dependent variable was the level of resonance. The dependent variable was the conditions before and after educational intervention. The dependent variable was the level of resonance. 2 videos were shown to the participants, one before and one after intervention. The condition before training as a control and after training as the experimental condition. The level of resonance was measured using the 7-point rating scale, where the participants rated how much each reading resonates. 30 students from an introductory psychology class were used in this study, 15 female, 15 male. The mean age of the participants was 18. Materials. The materials needed for the study included 2 pick-a-card videos from the same reader, a 7-point rating scale to rate level of resonance, a general personal description. A general personal description, a scenario for educational intervention training, consent form, and debrief form. All of the component listed was included in a Google form. Participants were shown 2 pick-a-card videos in total, one before and one after educational intervention has been placed. The reading was filmed by the same reader, the researcher, and is of approximately the same length. A 7-point rating scale. See Appendix B. Was a scale which allows the participants to rate the level of resonance of their reading. 1. Did not resonate at all. 7. Completely resonates. 1 general description. See Appendix C. Was a description which the participants were deceived into thinking that it was a description provided to them basing off the pile that they have chosen. However, all the participants were given the same description. They were debriefed shortly after finished reading the description. The scenario for training was a scenario where a person found correlation between their horoscope forecast and their sudden change of mood. Consent form. I have given up on saying all the C appendix. Consent form were used to ask for consent from the participants while making sure they understood the nature of the study and their right to withdraw from the study anytime during or after the experiment is finished and have their data erased. Debriefing form were used for participants to be informed of the true purpose of the study, hypothesis, and why it was necessary for them to be deceived. Procedure. The whole experiment was carried out online through a survey. All participants were gathered in a room in which they were properly distanced to make sure they cannot see other participants' screen. All steps were guided within the survey. However, the researcher was present to invigilate the process, just in case for any inquiries, withdrawal from experiment, and to avoid any communication between participants. The researcher first explained the purpose of the study as the investigation of divination in tarot cards, where we investigate the level of resonance of general pick-a-card readings. All participants were then given a link which led them to a Google form. The Google form first introduced the participants to the study, similar to the spoken explanation given earlier. On the same page, a consent form was present for the participants to sign in order to proceed to the next page. The next page introduced the concept of pick a card tarot readings and included a pick a card video. The page also asked the participants to choose a pile in the video and watch only the reading from the pile. After watching the reading, the participants were then asked which pile they have chosen and to rate the level of resonance on the scale of 1 to 7. The definition of resonance was defined as the level in which you feel connected or related to what is being said in the video. 1 being did not resonate at all, and 7 being completely resonates. The participants were then guided to the next page. The next page has a list of general personal description taken from 1949, where the participants were then told that these are the descriptions of people who have chosen their pile. However, these descriptions were the same general descriptions which were provided to everyone. I'm so tired. The descriptions were also asked to rate the descriptions. The participants were also asked to rate the level of resonance to the general description of the 7-point scale. Afterwards, the participants were guided to the next page. The next page debriefed about the deception that has been placed in the previous page. It explained its relation to the Barnum Effect, what Barnum Effect is, and how easily we can fall in the trap of cognitive biases, such as the Barnum Effect on daily basis. It then introduced the consider the opposite training. The participants were told a scenario where a person found a connection between their change of mood and their horoscope forecast. The participants were then asked to list out different possibilities for the situation that can prove the initial hypothesis of my mood change because of my horoscope incorrect. After this, the participants were once again guided to another page where they were provided with another pick a card video. They were asked to choose a pile and watch only the reading of the pile. After watching the video, they were asked to rate the level of resonance, similar to what they did for the first video. As they reached the last page, the participants were then debriefed entirely and explained the true hypothesis and purpose of the experiment. After the deception has been lifted, the participants were reminded of their right to have their data erased. Lastly, the contact details of the researcher was listed for further inquiries on the study. I'm so tired, and I really think that I should be speaking slower, but this whole thing is 15 pages long. So hell nah! As they reached the last page, the participants were then I said that already. Lastly, the contact details of the researcher was listed for further inquiries on the study, and participants were thanked for their participation and contribution in the study. The results of the study, see Table 1, supports my hypothesis where the participants' rating of resonance would be significantly lower after educational intervention has been placed. Table 1 shows the mean rating of the level of resonance of the pick a card tarot readings before educational intervention, after educational intervention, and the general personality description. The mean differences between the pre and post intervention is 1.1, although there may be participants' variability within the level of skepticism of pseudoscience and spirituality, as seen in the detailed results of each participant. See Table 2. The lowest rating for both pre and post intervention is 1, and the highest is 7. However, for most participants, there is at least 1 point decrease for level of resonance after educational intervention has been implemented. Discussion. In my study, I hypothesized for the participants to have a significantly lower rating after educational intervention has been implemented. The results of my experiment supports my hypothesis, as there is a clear 1 point decrease from one video rating to the second video rating for most participants. My expected finding for the mean rating were for the first video to be 5.7 and the second one to be 4. Although the decrease in ratings were less significant, the differences were still consistent thus assumed to be significant. The small decrease in level of resonance may be due to the fact that the intervention training was short, thus may not be able to eliminate all biases. Nevertheless, it can encourage the participant to critically analyze whether or not the reading did resonate, thus being more hesitant and skeptical when believing what is said. The results are not consistent with previous results. As mentioned in their introduction, Barburia et al. 2018 study. The results of the paranormal questionnaire did not significantly differ between the participants who did the questionnaire before and after intervention. However, due to the fact that I questioned the study's internal validity and the measurement for paranormal beliefs, I have used another approach in my study where the findings were able to differ significantly. Although cognitive biases may not be eliminated completely, the significant decrease in ratings can suggest the fundamental role that cognitive biases play in the high level of resonance in tarot reading. In Pick a Card. The mean value of the general description is 4.8, as the description is supposedly fitting for everyone. The rating is not significant in the research of my hypothesis. However, if the rating for resonance is low in this section, it can suggest possible error in the results. The possible limitation in the study is demand characteristic, as participants did learn about the relevance of Barnum Effect and cognitive biases before watching the second video. Thus, it may be possible for the participant to be able to assume the hypothesis. By knowing the hypothesis, the participants may not respond naturally, authentically, or truthfully when doing the second rating, thus affecting the credibility of the experiment. Another alternative explanation about the decrease in level of resonance is the quality of the video itself. It is possible that the second video was simply not as accurate, meaning that even without intervention, the participants may already rate it as a video with lower rate of resonance. To prevent this possible confounding variable for future studies, the order of conditions can be randomized for the participants to be able to encounter either the current first or second video first. If that is the case, if all participants have rated a video lower despite watching it before or after intervention, it would suggest a problem within the material itself. Conclusion. Overall, the study investigates the effect of educational intervention on the level of resonance in Pick a Card tarot readings. The result of the study have shown a significant decrease between a pre-intervention condition and post-intervention condition. It suggests that educational intervention may indeed be able to reduce cognitive biases, thus allowing some critical analysis of the content of Pick a Card tarot readings. However, this can only suggest the possibility that Pick a Card readings are due to cognitive biases. Further investigation is required for a more in-depth understanding of the relationship between pseudoscience and psychology. Okay, and that is me proofreading my piece and editing it, and I am sorry if my reading was too quick for you to sleep, but that was very tiring. Okay, that's it for today.